You are listening to Nerd Best Friends, a podcast that covers the nerdy conversations you're already having, or wish you could. It's the nerdiest thing you'll do this week.
This is Analese.
This is Rob, and we are your nerd best friends.
Tomorrow is Thanksgiving in the United States, and that means it's officially time to start thinking about holiday gifts for the nerds in your life.
It's our annual Nerd Gift Giving Guide.
Nerds, this is your official call to action. Grab your devices, hit that subscribe button, give us a rating, and share this episode with your fellow geeks. Let's grow this nerd community together. Every click helps us reach more of you out there. So what are you waiting for? Join the movement now, you nerds. Here we are, episode 61, Nerd Gift Giving Guide. It's the holiday season. How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing very good. It's fall. It's beautiful. We got the holidays are here. How fun.
It's officially cold up here in Northern California. We hit our highs are in the 50s right now. It's cold, but it's not as cold as our friend Adam, who lives in Michigan now.
It's not as cold as our friend Adam and his cold, cold, evil heart. Like the Grinch, he lives up there.
There's a reason why it pulled him in.
Hey, do you like nerd gift giving or nerd gift receiving better?
I like nerd gift giving a lot.
I think I do too.
It does warm my heart. It does warm my heart when my nerd friends understand my nerdiness and get me something nerdy. But I've always been really awkward at receiving gifts. I don't like the attention on me. So, we had administrator week recently, Administrator Appreciation Week or something. And I guess this is something that the staff at my school does all the time, but the front office staff all pull together and get the admin gifts that are really unique to each admin. And so my gift was a big tote bag of Stephen King hardcover pictures, a print of Stephen King.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's a bag and the design
Mm-hmm.
on the bag was a collage of Stephen King.
Yeah, there you go. That's much better. And then inside was my favorite coffee, some Topo Chicos, and my favorite snacks. And it was really, really thoughtful. But I was like, thank you. And I was slinking away from them all. And I'm just very awkward with it. But it was very sweet because it was really even though they're all Giants fans up here in Northern California, I had a little Dodgers gift in there. And it was just really cool when people know your nerdiness and it's nice to receive. But I love thinking about my nerd friends and getting them gifts much more.
Not only have I never heard of Administrator Appreciation Day, the idea that anyone would come together and appreciate their boss in such a way and to give them gifts is absolutely foreign to me in any educational setting I've ever been in.
This school district celebrates all the weeks. We have Classified Employees Week. We have Paraeducators Week. I mean,
there's a Paraeducators Week. Wow.
There is. Yeah.
Ooh,
of course, Teacher Appreciation Week. There's actually even a Principal's Day. So there's a Assistant Principal Week. It's wild how many things are celebrated, but it's also really great because everyone deserves to be celebrated.
Sure they do.
Especially in education. We all do. All of us do. We are underpaid and overworked. You're just, talk about cold, bitter hearts. You're just bitter that you moved into the management area that nobody gives a hoot about except when they want to yell at things. when the Wi-Fi is not working, that's when Rob hears from them, not when everything's going smoothly and all the iPads are good to go. Nobody cares to appreciate Rob.
Oh my gosh. I was having a big argument with my systems team a couple weeks ago. We were fighting about something, and I get this text from one of the people in my department that said, "Hey, happy International Bosses Day." I'm like, that's a thing? And so it was perfect timing because I read it just as I'm getting a bunch of back talk from these systems guys. And I looked at it and I just looked back up at it and I said, well, happy International Bosses Day to me. I went in my office and slammed the door.
Poor Rob.
Poor Rob.
It is management life.
What a joke.
Let's get to some nerd mail.
Nerd mail. Annalise, what did you choose from the nerd mailbag this week? I know you read through dozens and dozens of emails and pick the best one. What do you got for us this week?
Intern Joan helped us pick this one this week from the nerd mailbag, and it goes back to episode 57. And in 57, we were talking about gatekeeping and all the things. And in that conversation, we were talking about playing video games and how toxic the video game community can be. However, and this
did we enrage the beast?
We actually did not. In this case, here's the quote, and I'm going to read it to you directly. Rob said he played Halo on PlayStation, but we all know it was on Xbox, which is, yes, we all had Xboxes in the early 2000s to play Halo. And now you live the PlayStation life because of your son, Andrew.
Right. But of course, hey, you know what? Good for you, listener. You know what? Always right. Dude, you burn me so bad. Freaking got him, man.
We love nerd corrections. Thank you, nerds. And if you have anything to correct us on, podcast at nerdbestfriends.com.
Halo is a Xbox exclusive.
It was. I think you still can't get it for PlayStation, right? Or you probably could buy a download of it, no?
We just wrapped it up. Don't make me say something else stupid and wrong. No, as far as I know, Halo is an Xbox exclusive, and you get it on Xbox. You could probably play it on Steam because it's Microsoft, and usually those are cross-platformers, but I'm not going to swear to it. Listener, what's his name, is going to send in another thing. And then intern Joan, of all the emails we get, is going to choose the one that corrects Rob and makes him look like an idiot. So cool, man.
Yes, that's exactly how this works. That's exactly how this works. Well, I don't know that anyone is even looking to play Halo much anymore, so I don't know that it matters if it's exclusive.
There's so many Halo games.
Yeah, there are.
Nope, I already closed the tab. I already closed the tab.
Halo Origins. Halo, the next generation, Halo
on Strange Tides.
We fight. Halo Endgame.
Halo, this time it's about the red one.
Halo, we have more guys. Halo, new gun generation.
Halo, the Flood Strikes Back.
There you go. Halo, the ship episode.
Halo, the ship episode. That's a real good one. What I like about Halo, the ship episode.
Halo the Rage Carry 2.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the answer. Thank you, Intern Joan, for chiming in. Intern Joan is now our producer. Halo the Rage Carry 2. That's the bloodiest one yet. Let's go on to our new segment, Talk Nerdy to Me. I want to remind you and let our listeners know that we have a running list of Talk Nerdy to Me segments that we just pull randomly from the hat. This one was pulled randomly from that bag of Talk Nerdy to Me. We actually also have some added in from Nerd Mail.
Oh, that's great. We need suggestions.
Yes. But this week, Talk Nerdy to Me. If you could have any magical item from D&D, what would it be? And how would you use it in real life?
All right. Well, your question, did you have one in mind? Do you want to go first?
I think mine's easy and it's obvious and it's the bag of holding.
Sure.
My life would be so much better if I just bag of holding. I'd put my car in it so people can't mess with my car. That might be too heavy.
You can't fit a car in a bag of holding. Also, it's too heavy. But think of a different example.
A different example.
I challenge you to think of a real example.
Sure. Like if you want to go camping or hiking, a bag of holding makes real easy. Put all your gear in one place and not have to worry about the weight of it or how you're going to carry it. I also think of Harry Potter. They can pull out a tent and then inside it's a mansion. I think of that with a bag of holding. I can carry a whole bunch of stuff in a very compact amount of space.
What I love about the bag of holding is it is basically a built-in inventory system to work along like your brain inventory, right? Because the way it works is you stick your hand in there, you think of the thing that you put in there earlier, and it pops into your hand. So what a great way to organize a collection. Like if you think about all of your plastic miniatures and all of your plastic terrain and these are delicate things, so they have to be in like a protective box. And these protected boxes take up all kinds of space and they're stacked up everywhere. Instead, you just dump them in the bag, and then when it's and you head on down to your buddy's house or to the store, and you're like, okay, time to deploy my army. They're just in there, suspended in this like little pocket dimension, perfectly safe from jumps and jostles and breakage. You just have to remember all the stuff that you painted.
Imagine what our Imagine what our nerd rooms would look like if your board game collection was all in a bag of holding and like, I'm going to play this board game, and you just reach into your bag of holding and, oh, hey, here's Curse of Strahd. And then it's there instead of having shelves and shelves and shelves of space, or like my book collection. Imagine all my books in a bag of holding. Like, I want to read this book. And what's really great about that is if I forget whether or not I had it and I reach in and ask for a book and it's not there, oh, I don't actually have that.
You don't have that one. You know what? We got it. Get wrecked, Dewey Decimal System. All libraries are now a bag of holding.
You mentioned, I would like this book. It goes, oh, no, that one's checked out. I have to think of another book.
Right? If it doesn't come up, it must be checked out by somebody else.
It's a little bit like Hoopla.
Interesting. So that is like, so part of collecting is that idea of seeing it on your shelf, right? You look at your board game shelf, you're like, oh, look at my cool collection. Look at the like bright colors and fancy fonts and all that kind of stuff. I'm kind of over it. Put that stuff in a bag of holding. Out of sight. Well, out of sight, out of mind. I might play less.
That could be more dangerous. You are right. But I think in this case, it could help you rotate through. Maybe you're tired of your shelf having this on it. You put that thing away and put something else in its place. You get your shiny collections on display and you don't run out of room and have to get rid of stuff. Dangerous and also intriguing.
There are so many fun items in D&D that are like rattling around in my mind for practical reasons, right? One thing I'm thinking of like right away, Ring of Invisibility. Okay.
Oh, sure.
I'm sitting at my desk. It happens a couple times a day. I got to go to the bathroom. But I know if I get up from this desk and I walk across the office and I walk down the hallway and I try to walk back, people are going to stop me and they're going to give me a million things to do. Instead, flip on that Ring of Invisibility like a ninja. I'm in and out. Nobody can stop me in the hallway and bother me with some dumb thing. Then I feel like I'm kind of like sneaky creep. So I don't think I'm going to get a Ring of Invisibility. The next thing that popped into my mind was the skeleton key, because the skeleton key is the key that can open any lock in any door. Imagine your key ring. How many keys are on there, right? You got like, I got like my car, I got my wife's car, I got the front door, I got the key to my mom's house, I got the key to my mother-in-law's house, I got the key to this place, I got the key to the office, I got a key to the vault, I got a key to like all these kinds of things. One key. And it would be even better if it was like a modern day sci-fi skeleton key and it was just a key fob.
Ooh,
and I could just walk up to places and go boop, boop, and open whatever door mechanically and magically. That would be pretty cool. Although
I would be worried about the implications of that key getting in the wrong hands.
Right. I'm not a burglar, right?
Yeah.
I'm not a thief. So that's really just for convenience. It might be kind of wasting the power of that, just like wasting the power of the One Ring to sneak in and out of the bathroom. Seems like a little waste. So what's the most practical one I could think of is the one that is ruining our game in Tomb of Annihilation, which is the water skin, the magic water skin that is always full. So one, hydrate or dihydrate, baby. You got to have this water skin going because you need fresh water at any time. Cooking, drinking water, whatever. But it also has a power where like if you squeeze it, it shoots water like a fire hose. It shoots water like a fire hose so hard you can like blast somebody back 5 to 10 feet. You could use it for firefighting. This is a really cool and very practical item. It's summertime. The kids are hot. Just go outside, squirt your never-ending water skin in the air. You've got sprinklers to run in. You're got a garden to water. Anything like you don't have to worry about the hose. You don't have to worry about your water bill. You just got this never-ending water flask squirting it all over the place. I wanted to read real quick what you just described. This is the decanter of endless water. That's the one. Yes, ma'am.
It was an accidental find at the very start of our game when we as players asked Rob the DM if we had time to go shopping. He said, sure. I'm like, oh, I'm going to buy this thing. And at the time, there wasn't a reaction. So I don't know if you noticed, because we were on it was like session 0 of the new game. And I'm like, hey, I'm going to buy this. And there was no reaction. And then the very first scene we go into is like, okay, now we have to find water. And I'm like, and I pull out the decanter of endless water. You're like, what? I'm like, yeah, I told you I bought it just before we started. I love it. By the way, it was accident. I really didn't think it was that powerful because, you know, endless water, that sounds good. I didn't realize it had stream, which produces 1 gallon of water, fountain, which produces 5 gallons of water, or geyser, which produces 30 gallons of water that gushes in a geyser 30 feet long and 1 foot wide. As a bonus action, while holding the decanter, you can aim the geyser at a creature you see within 30 feet. The target must succeed on a strength saving throw or take 1d4 bludgeoning damage and fall prone. Amazing. Right? I don't think I've even used it in that matter.
I'm just carrying around my water bottle on the street, and if anybody's, making me nervous, boom, it's like a 1960s protest out there.
Oh, look at this long line to get the new DM guide.
I'm
first in line.
Mowing everybody down.
Oh, that's good stuff.
All right, decanter of endless water. That's my choice.
Beautiful, beautiful. Nerds, send in your deep thoughts, nerd questions, or talk nerdy to me subjects you'd like us to cover. Slide into our DMs or send those topics to podcast@nerdbestfriends.com. And now it's time for the Nerd Gift Giving Guide 2024 edition.
Excellent. Fantastic. You know, the research I did was to go back to our previous two nerd gift giving guides to make sure that I didn't just pick the same thing again.
Repeat. Yeah.
Which is funny because what I found when I looked at those two side by side is we definitely picked some things again.
Yeah, we did. And sometimes it's in some cases the evolution of things, right? Because I did the same thing. And one thing we did do different this year, our first two seasons of having the nerd gift guide, we did by categories, like favorite craft for your craft beer nerd, for your TV nerd, for your reading nerd. What we did instead was do a top 5, because I think our top 5s produce a bit more better content than trying to find something that fits into the category. So our top 5 is in any category. And I don't know about you. Did you go from 5 to 1? Like 1 is your biggest. Did you rank them, I guess, is the question I have.
Not really, because again, we're thinking of different people and different kinds of nerds and stuff like that. So I tried to catch like big categories. I don't think that I necessarily ranked them.
Okay, well, let's dive into our top 5, even if unranked. I think mine's not ranked either. I kind of just went into things that I'm
right, because I'm looking at your number 5 here, and your number 5 could be somebody's number 1.
I agree, depending on
which I guess is the case for all top 5 lists. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know that unless it was, if we had changed it and we said top 5 gifts we would like to receive, then I feel like you could have the countdown. But anyway,
you may have just described our subscriber bonus episode. All right, well, let's get into it. What do you have on number 5? Your nerd gift guide number 5.
Nerd gift guide number 5, I put comic storage box. And the reason I did this is because the technology, the way this is done, has come a long way since when we were collecting comics if you're over the age of 30. We all know the long box and the short box. It's a white cardboard box that you fold together. You pick them up in your comic book shop for cheap. You fold them together. They're very sturdy. They've got like a double layered bottom. The lids are nice and like chonky so that they don't like flip off in your closet and stuff. It's a very good design for a cardboard thing. Whenever I go to my comic collection and I start whipping those out of the closet, one, they're super heavy. If I could go back in time,
yes,
I would never buy a long box. I would only buy short boxes because the long boxes are crazy heavy. They go on the bottom of the closet. Stuff gets all stacked up on top of each other. It's like, I could go look at that box or I could just grab it online. You know what I mean? It's like I rob myself of whatever that like joy of like, oh, I have the original issues and I could go back and watch them because I'm looking at that 5 tall stack of long boxes and going like, you boy, I hope this place burns down someday. No, I'm not. don't say that.
Knock on wood.
On Amazon, when I was looking around, I saw that they have these fold up, just like the long boxes kind of fold up, but these are plastic. And the ones I have are the BCW comic bin in black. But basically, this is like a plastic tote for your comic books. It's exactly the right size. It comes with dividers. It's got a lid that just flips open and closed. They're pretty lightweight, and they are the short box style, the short box length. But there's something about those long boxes, especially when they sit for a while in your closet or in your nerd room or whatever, I feel they're just collecting dust in a way that nothing else collects dust. They have this smell to them that to me just smells like allergies. Like I don't want to go anywhere near this thing. A plastic box, of course, is plastic. So you kind of avoid anything, any absorption of moisture from the air or accidental spills. And you also just avoid that kind of funky, super dusty smell, I think. Yes. And of course, being plastic, they're all perfectly molded and stuff. So they stack on top of each other really easily. You can put labels on the front just like you can on your cardboard and all that kind of stuff. But I have a couple of these to keep separate. Andrew, my son Andrew's comic collection and mine. Mine are all in the big white, dusty mold boxes, and his are in like sleek plastic stackable plastic boxes. So if you've got a comic book collector or someone who's kind of like at the verge, like their collection isn't so big yet that they have a million long boxes already, especially like a young kid, or you could even combine this gift with a few stacks of comics that you're getting for your young reader and have them all set up like that. I think it's a good product.
I agree. And I think this was one of the areas where we made a suggestion like this last year. I think last year we talked about ones with drawers that you could pull out and look through your collection very easily. I'm a fan of either of those because, those cardboard boxes they do their job. They absorb the moisture for your comics and the comics stay safe. But to leaf through them, even in the individual wrapped plastics and the backings, to leaf through them gets hard and you've got to pull them out and they're all heavy. And I agree with you. Any sort of comic book collection that allows you easy access to grab a comic and reread it is awesome.
And what is your first offering or your number 5 of the countdown for our gift giving guide?
My number 5 is a bit, I don't know, it's a bit more open-ended because what I'm noticing the trend right now is a lot of people just have custom engraving machines or machines that will etch into metal or etch into wood, and people are able to purchase custom gifts.
Mm-hmm.
An example is I made a custom gift for my admin team, and it's just someone who has a bunch of coffee mugs, or not mugs, but like Yeti travel mugs, and they have a laser engraving machine. So hopefully none of my admin team is listening to this to spoil their gift that they'll get in 2 weeks from now, but it's engraved with a laser etching machine. And so like Etsy is really big on people who just, this is their business, this is their life. They just make things for people. I think last year you talked, or the year before you talked about getting a customized charcuterie board.
Yes, my brother-in-law made that for us with like a Casa de Cooper logo and stuff. It was like, in this house, we roll dice and eat cheese and
or something like
whatever, like some silly thing
like that, right? And then I got one the same year that was like USC's emblem that my brother and sister-in-law got for me. So I'm just a big fan of the fact that we could do one of two things. We could purchase these machines ourselves. Like you have the Prussia machine that you could make gifts, which you do. You make custom gifts for people, which is really great. Or we could buy these like wood etching or laser engraving machines, or just support someone who does this and go and talk with someone on Etsy, and they'll make just about anything you want within reason. So I'm a big fan of getting custom gifts now because it's so easy to do. And we grew up at a time that it wasn't easy to do. So we'd like, oh, it would be cool if we could all get mugs that say this, this, this. And now it's like way super possible and easy and quick. I know I gave you Nerd Best Friends glass etched glasses a couple years ago. So
you sure did. And it sits in prominence in my collection, especially because it is a glass etched thing. It survives the dishwasher a lot longer than other collectible glasses do.
With the logos that just burn off after a while.
You know, it's funny. Here we are like right before Thanksgiving. And you're right. Every year there's at least somebody on the list that I'm making a custom like 3D printed or something gift for. I don't have a project like that this year.
Ooh.
I've only got a month left if I'm going to come up with something, but like I haven't. Interesting. Just
I'm not going to lie. Very recently, as we've been going through our garage and getting rid of stuff, we went through 8 boxes this past weekend and just getting rid of stuff and setting it up for donation piles and all that good stuff. I found myself going, man, if I had a 3D printer, we could max out how we're storing this, or this. Like I was like, oh, but what does it mean? Like I got to measure the things like opening a drawer, and like you have in your kitchen drawer, you have customizable things that you printed based on the measurements of your drawer. I'm like, man, if we had a 3D printer, I could do this. Am I ever going to have time to do that? No.
I'll be honest, on these, I didn't like measure those things and make them all custom. I just print them and kind of, I mean, you can't like within reason, right? I'm not gonna be like, oh, this was 24 inches long. Maybe that'll work. But there's pretty much what I do is I find sets of like common sizes and shapes and just print a set and kind of Tetris piece them together in the drawers, and it's all good.
Wow. 3D printing. 3D printers not in my future, but there's definitely been some times I'd be like,
Now, if you did have dimension, if you did take the time and be like, man, we sure could use some drawer organizers, and you sent it over and be like, hey, I would love a set of 4 boxes this size, 3 boxes this size, or whatever. That could just be knocking out. Like the best part about the 3D printer is it just sits there and runs while you push the button, you go to work, you come back, and it's like a slow cooker. You push the button, you go to work, you come home, dinner.
I will not be shy if I find something that I think is pretty cool, like the Mansions of Madness. Was it Mansions of Madness? All the table pieces to help with the cards and stuff. And then you tried to print it twice, but it kept like lifting in the middle of the process. So
yeah, I think I have a better printer now. We can take a look.
Ooh, I can't remember what game it was either, so we have to really go back and remember what game it was. So
there's a lot of cool game pieces. Wait, are we doing a bonus episode?
We are doing a bonus, yeah.
Okay, well then I'm gonna keep that bonus to myself. Let me go right down over here.
Speaking of homemade gifts, Rob, your number 4 is along these lines, so let's go to number 4 on our list.
Absolutely. So we were just talking about these homemade things, which I've definitely done before, which is 3D printed dice towers. Dice towers can be as simple as basically looks like a gutter system on your house, right? It's just a dumb hole that you throw dice in and it spits it out into a tray at the bottom. Sometimes they'll have like fun little zigzag shelves in the middle, so it like delays. You hear the tumbling inside as the dice are going down. But then of course, like with 3D printing, there's a ton of themes and things you can do, right? So I've given people dice towers that look like fantasy towers. I've given people dice towers that look like magical, like Feywild trees. Given people dice towers that look look like alien crystal structures and things like that. And there's fun ways to do that with the 3D printing too. A lot of times I will paint it, or sometimes I've had success with the rainbow filament that's like this kind of gradient of metallic rainbow colors. Printing something like a dice tower in that means, one, you don't have to paint it, but two, it looks fun and really cool and shines on the light and stuff while it's sitting at the table. So that's pretty fun. So that goes along with those homemade things. But even if you're not a 3D printer and you're not going to make it yourself, there's 1,000 of these, right? There's dice towers everywhere. I really think something special, if you're not going to make one yourself, is a woodworking handmade dice tower that you could purchase from somewhere. I know there's plenty of places online that have just these beautiful handcrafted, cut and fit together with the perfectly like sanded smooth, teak wood or whatever it is, and they put the oil and the stain on it so it just looks amazing. And there's two distinct sounds between like a plastic 3D printed dice tower that you throw your dice into, and then that sound of like throwing your dice into a handcrafted wood dice tower. That wood click clack of the math rocks going down like a beautiful wood dice tower is just nothing like it. I think that's a great gift.
The wood ones sometimes also have little like prongs sticking out of it, so the dice bounce around between those things as they're coming down. They're really cool looking and cool sounding. Yeah. Just kind of a tangent real quick. When we were in Eugene back in July, my stepson makes jewelry, and he got you have to go through a whole approval process there to be part of their farmers markets. So he got approved and was selling at a farmer's. So we went to help his booth one Saturday in the summer. I walked around this huge multi-block Eugene weekly farmers market. I saw at least a half a dozen that were D&D oriented. Mm-hmm. Very particularly people just printing stuff with the 3D printer and painting them and selling these things. Like I would look at this and like, oh my gosh, Rob could make this and could make it look so much better than this. And they're charging like $30 for this thing that has the little magnets in it that hold dice and stuff. And then one was a whole little, like it was a dice holder box, but you lifted it up and then on the top you could put like little notes and there was a space for a pencil. And then other people had dice towers. I know you toggle a lot about like, I do this for fun and for passion, but you could honestly create an Etsy store and just print and sell things to help fund your nerd hobbies. And now that Andrew's painting, you could have a sweatshop.
You know what? It's already a sweatshop over here, just trying to get my hobby stuff done.
True.
Yeah, I feel like were you going to talk about Etsy later?
I am going to talk about Etsy in our bonus episode.
Okay, because we'll talk more on there, but yes, I have been having really good luck with Etsy lately on 3D printed stuff and homemade stuff and cool stickers and things like that.
Dice towers are awesome. I have two. You made me two as gifts of that rainbow gradient one, and the second one was only because the first one, whatever design that was, the dice was getting stuck in the thing. So then you made a bigger one. But yeah, that tree one you made, I don't remember who you gave that one to, but that one was beautiful, hand painted like an elf tree or something.
Yeah, Juliana has that one.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
And I made this like really cool dark tower, like huge, like
Sauron,
like Eye of Sauron style tower. And Andrew Bowman has that one.
That's not the one you donated to the high school D&D club?
Oh gosh, and then there were a couple that I made for the Yeah, that's right. Yep. I sent some over there. I've got a really cool one that I like. It's like a shipwreck dice tower that needs a home.
Yeah, I saw we have a friend in Michigan who's freezing and has a giant house because it's Michigan that can store stuff now. Although he gave away all of his stuff before he moved, which was a rookie mistake. I saw a really cool one on Reels where it's the dice tower and it was something else. And then there was a space to hold a mug, like a coffee mug. It's just really cool things that people are coming up with. And even the set you made me was more than just the dice tower. There was a tablet holder that was in the same design. Yeah. There was a thing that it could be a cup holder. It could be a dice holder. You could put your pencils in it. Like it had a few pieces. And I bring it out. Pieces of it time to time when we play D&D. The dice tower not so much because this table is too small.
That's what I found too. Is like I remember that set, and I had made a huge set for Andrew, and it was the same thing. It was like the dice tower attached to the pencil holder, attached to the tablet holder, attached to the spell tracker, like this whole thing that would sit on the back of your desk. But the problem was, now I have to do homework, so I need room for a textbook and my binder, so I have to like try to carefully move all this stuff out of the way, and it's like really big table. To have that just as a setup on your desk, or a separate table that's just for your hobby stuff.
Just for D&D, yeah. I have it all in a clear bin, so when we play and I'm going to use it, I just pull out that clear bin and set it up. A little at a time. Cool. Well, my number 4 is similar to a previous year as well, where I mentioned like a good set of noise canceling headphones, but I went the extra mile, and I already gave this to my partner. It was her Christmas gift, but she needed it a little bit sooner because she's having trouble sleeping, waking up really easy because of noises. And so like our dog getting up and shuffling and like getting cozy with the blankets next to our bed will wake her up, and then she has trouble going back to sleep. So in trying to help her in insomnia issues, I got her a headband that had the headphones inside of them because she was trying to sleep with noise canceling over the ear headphones, and of course that like tweaks your neck and it's uncomfortable, and then they got torn apart because of her trying to sleep on them. So I found one called Cozy Band, and that's a particular brand. It's not anything specific. There's a few companies that have them, but Cozy Band it's basically a headband. It's got the little controls in the front that you can pause and turn the volume up and down, and then it's got the two just on the ear, not in or over, but just the on the ear flat earpieces, so that it Bluetooth connects. And so she plays like her calm sleep music or whatever she's listening to, and she's sleeping soundly through the night. She also noticed this particular brand you can put over your eyes. So when it gets light outside, you cover your eyes or use it on an airplane instead of the in-ear. I'm actually kind of jealous. I might get one for myself eventually because it sounds like it'd be really cool. I have trouble. Like I love the Apple earbuds. I do. But also when I'm wearing them for a long time and I'm like cleaning, doing a project or whatever, like starts to wear on my ears. I think it's a really great alternate. Some sort of like headband headphones that are Bluetooth oriented.
I always like joke or kind of hyperbolize my sleep regiment. It's like, oh, well, just take a quick nap. And I'm like, take a quick nap. Listen, I got to have my earplugs in. I have to have my cozy face mask to block out light. I got to have my sleep apnea breathing machine. I got to strap on my carpal tunnel wrist protectors and turn on and plug in my water massage leg casts so I don't get deep vein thrombosis. Like I sleep in a coffin. Or you can just take a quick nap. What a pain. But this is where I always think, like, if the question earlier this episode was like, what D&D magic would you want? If it was what sci-fi magic do you want? Hands down, no hesitation, I would say I want one of those healing water tanks that everybody sleeps in the Star Wars universe.
Oh,
right?
Good call.
You put on the like mask and you're floating in like a bucket of stem cells or whatever the heck that is, and then like the alarm goes off and you come out and you're good to go. You slept perfectly, and all of these little nanos or whatever repaired your body. It's amazing. That's what I want.
You can
complete sensory deprivation.
Pull a Christian McCaffrey, go to Germany and get some stem cell goop to heal your body and then come back. I'm
pretty sure that's what it is. It's just a gross tank of stem cells that you suspend yourself in every time at night when you go to sleep. Perfect. That's what I want.
Kobe Bryant did it. He went to like his last handful of years because his body was so wrecked, but he wanted to keep playing. His knees and his legs were having issues. So he would go to Germany in the off season and do some sort of treatment over there and come back ready to play. Like it's wild. It's wild whatever they're doing over there. But yes, the Cozy Band could be for you, Rob, instead of earphones or earplugs. But because in my ears gets a little wonky, and I
just use the little like the little rubber nubbins, earplugs.
They don't irritate your ears. It might be a me thing. It's grating in there, like after a while having anything in my ears. But yeah, so it might just be a me thing.
I have to at least sleep with earplugs because I guess I'm a light sleeper. Like little noises, like you said, like, oh, the dog gets up in the middle of the night and like shakes and the tags jingle will wake me up, right? We have a teenager who stays up way later than me. So at like 10:30 when he's walking across the hallway and slamming the bathroom door or whatever, I'm like, dang it, I'm awake now. Like I gotta have those earplugs. And you travel, hotel, never go anywhere without a set of those earplugs.
Well, check out the Cozy Band or other headband type. It seems pretty interesting. Sarah's enjoying them so far. She's sleeping through the night, actually.
In 2022, the third entry onto my gift giving list was a subscription to a local craft brewery, like a mug club type thing.
Yes.
And in 2023, my third entry into the gift giving guide was a local brewery subscription, like mug club kind of thing. So here in 2024, my third entry into our gift giving guide will be get somebody a membership to their local brewery mug club type thing. You feel super special when you go and you get your custom mug off the shelf. You always get a discount on beer. Of course, the employees there are always like a little extra nicer to you, or, you know, have a conversation with you because they know you're a local and not just some jerk off the streets. And depending on what it is, a lot of the, you know, larger places or, you know, more successful breweries in your area probably have all kinds of events, right? And a lot of times you'll get invited to like, oh, new beer debut event or anniversary beer event, and it'll be, you know, mug club exclusives. And then some even do like outings. I know one of our local breweries is pretty big and they do quarterly outings. They'll do like, oh, it's whale watching. Oh, it's a Laker game. Oh, it's a this and that. So depending on what they're offering, or if you know that, you know, you have a friend that visits their local brewery pretty often, still a great gift all these years later.
I think we've told this, or I've asked this question or told this story every time, but I want to make sure my thinking is right here. This is the same way you and our friend get to go to that Kings game every year, right? It's through a membership it's a perk of a membership of one of the breweries.
Yeah, they've got some deal with, I almost said Staples Center, with Crypto.com Arena. Actually, you know what's funny? I don't think I've gone since they changed it to Crypto.com Arena. Maybe it was a Staples thing. But yeah, they would have a Clippers night and a Lakers night and a Kings night. And yeah, that would take the beer bus down there. Yep.
I remember you told the story about meeting Snoop Dogg.
Yes, our party room was literally right next door to the Snoop Dogg party room, you know, in the green room section down there. Our party room, very quiet and boring, full of a bunch of beer nerds. Right next door, it was dark. There were like colored lights. It was all smoke machine. And you look back to our like empty room with a fold out table with some snacks on it, and like the lights are all bright and neon. We need to do better.
Can I go to that room? Can I go to that room real quick?
Oops, I thought I was room E4.
Yes, I was invited. I'm a friend of Snoop. Supporting your local brewery for your friends that like brews and local brews is a great way to support your community. My number 3 is brewery adjacent. I think it's really cool.
Everything's brewery adjacent if you believe in yourself.
Truth. In this case, one of the things that we like to do at breweries is take something to do, like a card game. Now, I think both of us agree there are some games we would never take to a brewery and risk it getting spilled on and stickiness. However, there are some board games. It's fine. If it happens, it happens. But there are now backpacks that are specifically designed to fit your typical board game box. And then you can take this backpack and put 3 or 4 of your favorite games and all the accoutrement for it and put it in this backpack, and then take them to your game night, whether it's at a friend's house or at a brewery. In fact, the slogan for the one I saw actually said brewery ready. And really, what else do you need to know about it other than you're packing up your games and you're going?
Yeah, I'm looking at one of the examples you put in here is like really nice and has all kinds of like little pockets and stuff like that. And then I see another one here that's kind of a more simple square branded one. The ones that I've seen, like if you want to try and be like, do I really want a big square backpack? I know that Miniature Market has branded ones that are also like very basic bare bones, but you can get them kind of on the cheap, especially during one of their sales that they always have, just to see like, well, will I really carry all this stuff around? Yeah. The other one that I'm sure Inter Joan is going to put on our exclusive gift list document for patrons is pretty maxed out. Pretty cool.
It reminds me of when, speaking of the Xbox, when Xbox suddenly started making their branded backpack that you can safely pack up, and it was all super padded, and you could Velcro in the strap to hold the Xbox in place. And PlayStation came out with one, and now we have a little one for our Nintendo Switch that we can take traveling with us. It's all, you know, it's obviously not as big as a backpack. I like these ideas of being able to take your games and go to the brewery, or take your games and go to your friend's house for game night and be able to pick out from a couple of games. But these board game backpacks are pretty sleek. I like the way they look. I think it's a great idea.
My next choice for the gift list goes right along with that as far as organizing and working on your board games. And I'm going to talk board game inserts and organizers.
Yes.
Because sometimes you have a really smart designer, for your board game or, whatever kind of game, so that you open it up and the pieces are probably on big sheets of thick cardboard, cardstock that you have to punch out. There's probably little sealed bags of dice and chits and whatever there is. But a lot of times that's it. Like, you take all that stuff out to play, and then where do you put it? You're just dumping it in the loose box with things like moving around and whatever, and not being organized, where it definitely helps, I think, both the setup and the takedown if there's a place for everything and everything is in its place and nice and organized. And I have some board games where there's the molded plastic insert that really helps you as far as like, oh, this hole is card size and this hole could go with the dice and this hole can whatever. And sometimes not. And especially with the miniature games, it'll be a flat box and there'll be the sprues because you got to build the miniatures or, something like that. Or they're just tossed in there all jumbled up because they're unpainted. But once you take them out, you build them or you paint them, now all of a sudden, like, you don't want them just in a big wad bouncing off each other and having paint scratch and all that kind of stuff. So I've had great luck. I really like the products from Felder. I get a bunch of, it's felt. It's a spongy felt company that specifically makes inserts for the exact games. So you like, oh, I've got Star Wars Imperial Assault starter set, and it just came with a bag of plastic minis all tied in there. I'm going to paint all those up. They're going to look nice. I'm going to spend time on them. They're going to have terrain on the bases that I don't want just popping off. You can get a specific, and it's exactly fit to the box, so that everything has a space and everything fits, and your miniatures can be all separate and protected, things like that. So I've had some great luck with off-the-shelf felt stuff from there. And I've also had great luck with some of the miniature games that I have, finding things on Thingiverse and other 3D printing sites where I can just get free STLs and download them myself. So all of those, like Castle Ravenloft games, the D&D 4th edition board games that I have the collection of, all of them, open them up. Every single one of them has a 3D printed insert so that every mini has its little box. The cards are all separate and everything's organized. It doesn't bounce around and stuff during transportation, but also it just makes it so easy to set up and take down, because a lot of those things, like, I'm just taking the insert out of the box and putting it on the table, right? So it's like, oh, this is the one that holds the cards. You just slide it out of the box, put it on the table, and you're drawing from the different organized piles that are already there. So even kind of like a game aid in some cases. So homemade 3D printed ones, or take a look at Felder. I know that intern Joan put another site in here that was all about the Broken Token. Clever name, but that's all like laser cut wood inserts that are put together. So those are really cool as well. And again, that cool engineering, and they all slot together and they have that nice like campfire smell because they're all burnt wood. If that's your vibe, that's very cool too.
I second this. It's so helpful, not only to the longevity of your very expensive luxury board games, but also for when you're ready to open them and play them, that you're not sitting there and separating everything like you're opening your bag of Legos for the first time before you can even start to set it up. I feel lucky in that the two biggest luxury board games I have, which is Return to Dark Tower and Final Girl, both of those sets came with the organization just beautiful. I didn't have to do anything for those games. Now, granted, with Final Girl, you have to buy the entire box sets to get that organization, but each individual little feature film that they have, when you open it, the part of the box is magnetic and it's the board game. It's the board, right? And then on the inside are the little inserts for if you have the minis or if you have the chits, because you could have either depending on which level you purchase, and then a little space for the cards. So they make it so it's even if you don't have the big luxury box, they do have these little individual, here's the core box that has the dice and the cards and the rule book, and everything just fits so beautifully into these things that they design. However, I second Felder. Through your big purchases, I've added on to some of them. And one of them was Felt for Mansions of Madness. And talk about having all of these minis that I painted and didn't want just rolling around. So it was that felt material where, it fits in, and they send you a little guide of the pictures of where all the things go. The other one that you added onto your order for me was actually a plastic. I think it was just 3D printed, but they did a really good job of it. And that was because Eldritch Horror is pretty much an all cards to play their game, cards and a board with a couple of chits. And so those inserts are great because just like you described, I could pick them up and take them out, and then all the cards are there organized as I play the game. So I'm a big fan of these as well, especially when you think about putting it away so that it's ready to play the next time you want to play it. So I love that.
Yeah, and that it really spoils you. Like when you have a board game that has a really like thought through, smart internal design for organization, and then you go back to a game that doesn't, and all your stuff is just like rolling around in a box like Candyland. Oh, this cannot be. I gotta get some inserts for this thing.
And that was Mansions of Madness, right? They just gave you plastic baggies with all the minis in there, and then one with all the cards. The inside it's a beautifully printed little cardboard insert to hold it all in. But once you open it all, there's no way it all fits in there. Like, what are they thinking? So the Mansions of Madness, it was really
for packaging, not for the customer, right?
No.
Long term.
My next suggestion, I think, is something a lot of homes have, and if they don't have, it is essential. We need it. This is multi-device charging station. This is also similar to something I mentioned last year, which was like your all-in-one travel for your travel nerd, to have one piece, one cord that can charge your watch, your earbuds, your phone, whatever else you have, depending on if you're like Apple or not Apple or whatever. But as an example, I recently bought a 3-in-1 from Costco, and it's maybe the size of 2 business cards, and it folds up into 3. And then I unfold it, and it has magnetics, so it can sit in a triangle, and you can have your phone sitting up like a clock, like some people like to do, or you can lay it flat, and it's got the circle for the watch, and it's got the charging pads for your earbuds and your phone. And it's really great. It's super great for a traveler. In this case,
I just grabbed mine because you were talking about it. Like this goes with me everywhere I go. And it's because like the MagSafe stuff, right? Like this side sticks to the phone. This side has a little pad for the watch. Yes. And it's already charged. Like I don't have to worry about finding the outlet in the hotel room, or if I'm out, sometimes when you're traveling, you're out for 16, 20 hours at a time. You throw this little guy in your backpack and you don't have to worry about your stuff going dead. So that was a recommendation I think I took from you in the past, was the travel one. And we found one that we really like.
Yeah. And the Costco one's really great. And there's even some for like your bedside table that are a little bit bigger, but it's all 3-in-1. It is the MagSafe or all that stuff. In this case, I think you do have one in your house, Rob. We need one in our house. Is just a station with the little plastic inserts in between where you can put your tablet and your phone and your whatever else, and just have everything sitting there charging. Because what we're finding is that we just have chargers plugged in everywhere, and sometimes they're all taken because we're all charging everything at once. But to have these charging docks is so vital in today's, I mean, everyone uses technology no matter what. And I like the idea of having a dock. If you have younger kids and you're trying to navigate, I think you use this with Andrew, right? Try to navigate their screen time. It's like, nope, now you're docking it. It's not going in your room with you. It's not in your hands while you're doing homework. It's a really great way to regulate for younger technology users. And also, hey, it's family dinner time. Everyone's plugging in their phones. We're all going to sit and be present with each other, and also just have the ability for everyone to charge their stuff.
Yep. That's exactly what I was going to say. We have one. It's right there on our counter between the kitchen and the dining area right there. And it is, it's not ugly. Like it looks nice. We got like a bamboo wood one, and then, a cord plugs into the wall, and then all the little cords come out a hole. But it's great. Yeah. It's like a must have for teens, because you want to have that time to put your devices away. They're out of the bedroom. They're there. But also it's that central place. Everybody knows where it is. So when friends come over and it's like, oh, we're going to come over and watch the game, they can look over and be like, oh, sweet. Plug their phone in, put it on the little shelf for an hour or whatever, and get that charge. Because it's just in that central place. It's not like you said, we go someplace. It's like, oh, I'm going to go like sit in the corner on the floor next to the outlet while I charge my phone or something.
I have certainly plugged my devices into your charging dock at your house when I visited. So yeah, it's helpful for your guests. It's helpful for your family. And you don't have a bunch of cords laying around everywhere trying to figure out where you can plug it in. I think every house needs some sort of charging station if they don't. And you can get really nice. The one I bought at my last school were a bunch of them that had little LED lights that lit up the side. So when it was plugged in, it would turn red. If it was charging, it would turn green. So the kid in the classroom knew, oh, my device is ready. I can go grab it.
A must have if you know of a home that doesn't have one yet.
Absolutely. We're down to our final recommendation for this year's gift giving guide. What do you got for your last recommendation, Rob?
I have 2 recommendations left.
You do?
Oh, that one says subscriber bonus. Oh, snaps.
All right. Well, what is your final suggestion for the regular episode?
My final suggestions for all these plebes listening to our episode for free, we love you. You're our very best friends. I'm just joking. Is a high quality nerd poster type gift. So Here's what I'm saying. Posters. Actually, maybe I have a question. It just struck me. Maybe teenagers don't have posters in their rooms anymore. I don't know. But I feel like posters were very ubiquitous all through growing up. When I was a kid, I had posters in my room, and it was like you would go to Kmart or wherever, and there's always be like a bin of posters. And sometimes there'd be that big thing where the posters were on this giant binder, and you could go through them. They had them at the video game store and at the toy stores and stuff. You'd be like, oh my gosh, look at this amazing poster. I gotta have it. And then you either tape it, just go up there, tape it to your wall, and it's all like wrinkly or whatever, or you put that blue tack on it, and eventually it like falls down and gets all jacked up. When I was 6th grade teacher, I would always decorate my classroom in a theme. And so I had a set of like 8 poster frames from Michael's or whatever, like the cheap $10 frames that you could put posters in, but it was better than just having them, naked and being ready to ripped or drawn on or whatever. And so I would change those out, but they're not really that great. Like, they're pretty loosey-goosey, they're pretty flimsy and stuff like that. What I do imagine, like, something being very cool, and even right now, I have posters up in my nerd room, but it's the poster maps that come with Dungeons and Dragons adventures. Okay. So of the different campaigns and things that I'm running, like, I've got the map of Chult up over here on the side of the refrigerator, and I've got Icewind Dale up on the back of the door and all that kind of stuff. I feel like it gives the room, like, a good vibe. But again, they don't look super nice. It's the nerd room. There's not a lot of people coming in here or whatever, but to have like a really high quality print or poster, and then to put it into like a really good frame that's not going to be wrinkly and flimsy and those kinds of things can be a really cool gift, especially if you know what kind of nerd, you've got going. Like in one of our bathrooms, we have the Star Wars movie poster from 1977, and it's framed and stuff, and it goes in there, and it's really cool to have something like that. Like, oh, like I can tell as a guest of this house, these are Star Wars nerds. They have this really cool nerdy poster up, and it's framed, and it looks really cool. The same thing could be for any of your nerd friends, because posters are still a huge thing. Like, you can find awesome, like Dungeons and Dragons classic, like Larry Elmore art in poster form and put it in like a really nice high quality frame for somebody. It just becomes kind of special. It goes from that like, oh yeah, I remember when these posters were $5.99 at the KB toy store, into like, oh, this is a gift. Like, it was a really nice frame. It's something that I'm interested in, etc. There's a ton of different companies out there. One that I've seen that's really cool is the posters are printed on like a metal sheet. And so the print looks really cool. Like, it just looks different than paper. And the idea there is you hang magnets on your wall, and then you can like swap them out periodically. So you could have all these cool like Warhammer posters and Star Wars posters and Transformers posters. And, every week or every month or every season or whatever, you just pop it off the wall and pop the other one on there. And you kind of have this rotation kind of idea. Nerd posters, like high quality, no, just like get a paper poster and like rolled up and be like, here you go. Like, if it's going to be a gift, it's got to be in a nice, solid, like good looking frame, like make it look cool and special.
Well, and big frames can be very, very heavy. So I think another thing you can do is your local sign store. You can take a poster, and I think they can attach it to like a foam core. So at least this way, it's nice and clean. And then you can put the foam core up with tacky stuff and not have to put holes in your wall and stuff too. So I think there's a few ways you can do that. Although this is not where I thought you were going with this with Nerd Poster. I thought with Nerd Poster, you were going to talk about some of those things you can get, like, here's the top 100 movies of all time. And you like scratch off the ones you've watched as you watched it to help you track.
We've had those in the gift giving guide before.
Those in that's where I thought you were going with it. So good call. No, you're right. Like, posters are still really powerful depending on your decor. When you talk about big movie posters, those frames are super heavy and super expensive, but there are ways you can make those look really good and not have to, it's going to collect dust and it's going to start to like weather with the, yeah. And it's a good way to protect them too. Good call.
Awesome. All right. What is your final gift giving guide suggestion for this episode?
I'm going to go with something that's very particular. I saw it on Etsy while I was doing research for this episode. I think we all may have a problem if you're going to turn on Netflix or Hulu or something, and you don't have something in particular in mind to watch, but you want to put something on, depending on your mood or depending on, it's a free Friday night. We're going to grab a pizza. We're not really watching anything right now, or there's not a new episode in the thing we're watching or whatever. A great struggle that is to be had sometimes is just scrolling through the streaming lists of stuff. Do you want to watch this? No, I don't really want to watch that today. Do you want to watch this? It's like the old flipping channels, right? You would flip channels until you tried to find something, and or you'd put your television on the scrolling what's on cable right now until you found something you really wanted. I found something called a streaming decider dice set. It's 3 dice that have a number, a genre, and a type. So it could be a movie, TV show, a short, or whatever. It's got 6 options. The next one is comedy, romance, horror, blah, blah, blah. And the other one is numbers. I'm imagining the number is like, if you go to that genre and you have 1 through 6, you're going to pick the first, second, third, fourth, or fifth option on that
I
list.
see. Yeah. The third one just says first, second, third, fourth, fifth. So it could be on the list.
Correct. So like you roll that dice and it says you're going to go to movies, comedy. So you go to your whatever streaming app you're using, go to movies and comedy, and then you roll that last die. It says third, and 1, 2, 3. We're watching the third thing on that list. I think it's a really cool way to gamify when you're stuck and just want something on.
I think it could also work in conjunction with, I know a lot of us have a list, right? We've got a list of things that we want to watch, whether we're like on our phone and we get recommendations. Oh, let me put that on the list. Let me put that on the list. This could also just go along with shows that you already know you want to watch. But a lot of us have that. Our list is so long, you get the paralysis of choice. If you organize your list with these 3 situations, right? Like you've got your list, of course, for the numbers, but then you separate shows and movies, and then genres. You just open up your spreadsheet, roll your things. You know what I find a lot of times when I do things like this, especially in like role-playing games and like D&D and stuff where there's a lot of tables to roll on, I find that I eliminate things from my list a lot.
Yes.
Like, we're going to do romance, 4th one down the list, show. And I go there, I'm like, you know what? I don't actually want to watch that. Delete. And then
it's something, not only that, it helps to organize and say, you know what? Yeah, that's been on the list forever. I'm not going to watch it. I will say that Final Girl does really great. Their mystery boxes, their first 2 seasons were dice on location, Final Girl and villain, and you roll them, and because you can mix and match. I
love
you
that.
Just boom, 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 boom. Right. And so that's what the decider dice does.
I love that. And a lot of times I've seen that in like tabletop skirmish games and stuff as well. It's like this many objectives, this kind of weather, this whatever, and it just sets up the game for you.
And that's my final recommendation.
Woo!
We made it.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Back at it again, Rob. What is the nerdiest thing you did this week?
So the nerdiest thing that I did this week is I combined 2 things. One thing that I've known about forever, right? It's just part of it. Like, have you noticed that when you are using your phone to take pictures and you take a picture of, say, a dog, a little eye will pop up that you can tap on and it will tell you what kind of dog that is. Have you noticed that?
Okay, you have to remember I always wait 3 or 4 iPhone upgrades. I have a 12 right now.
Good God. Okay. Well,
so no, it does not pop
up
on
in
mine.
The year 2024 and you update your operating system on your phone, which you should. There are security updates in there. They're very important.
I do that, but I don't get all the features.
Probably not. Okay. Yeah. Well, for the last couple of years on your phone, if you take a picture of, say, a dog, a little like icon will pop up. You can click it and it'll tell you what kind of dog it is. It does the same thing with plants. So if you're on your like neighborhood walk and you're like, oh, that's a really nice plant. I wonder wonder what it is. You take a picture of it, boom, it'll tell you exactly what kind of plant that is. We've even used it before, like when we were going to put hedges up in our yard a couple years ago, we'd walk around the neighborhood and be like, oh, what kind of hedge is that? Take a picture of it so that when you go to the hardware store later, you've got this list of like, okay, well, let's see. Oh my God, those are $150 a plant. We're not getting that one. Cross it off the list kind of thing. So here's a fun way that I've incorporated that just for fun. I have tabletop miniatures and terrain and all of this kind of stuff. A lot of those things are trees and like tree houses and things like that. You can take a picture of your 3D terrain. Like I have 3D printed trees and it'll tell me what kind of tree it is.
Wait. No way.
Yes, or it'll make its best AI guess.
I mean,
right?
yes, right.
And give you a picture and
Wow.
you're like, oh yeah, that does kind of look like that tree. Now, let's take it up another level. Right now, Maria is painting her way through a tabletop skirmish army of wood elves or Sylvaneth or whatever Games Workshop calls them. And they're like these cool, what they look like is like ghosts or like forest spirits popping out of trees. So like half their body is all like trees and leaves, but then there's like a humanoid like ghost type thing popping out of it kind of deal.
Yeah, that's really cool.
And so we're like, you know, we want to have some variety, right? Because you could just like, oh, okay, we're going to spray them all brown and we're going to spray them all blue and then we got ghost trees. But instead, we want to do like different colors and different colored leaves and all this kind of stuff. You could take a picture with your phone of these Sylvaneth tree spirit miniatures, and based on like the shape of the leaves and like the branches and stuff, it'll match it to a real life tree. So you could have some fun and be like, oh, this dude's an elm, I'm gonna give him gray bark and yellow leaves, and this dude's an oak, I'm gonna give him dark brown body bark and, you know, darker green leaves. That kind of thing. So I've been playing with taking pictures of like fantasy forest things and having the phone AI identify what real life color scheme it could have.
What a great use of AI to inspire your color schemes.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I'm probably going to upgrade. It's probably going to be on my 25 for 25 is upgrading my phone. I usually wait. I treat them like cars, right? The longer you hold on to them after you pay them off, the more value you get out of your money. And really, I enjoy having some time without a phone payment every month. So,
but yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
New phone feature. You can identify plants and animals on your walks.
In 2015, you made fun of me because I was a few phone generations behind, and I moved to Ohio and got a new phone because my other one stopped working, which they do after if you wait too long. It was the first time I was able to use pay with your phone.
Oh yeah.
And your face. And I remember texting you going, I just paid for a soda with my face. And you're like, yeah, welcome to 2015, you slacker. Technology is really wacky.
It's just silly things because, you know, we have our miniature painting chat that we go back and forth on and send updates. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'm taking a picture of this like tree ant and the little thing popped up, like the little leaf popped up. I'm like, really? And I clicked it. It's like, this could be a cypress tree or whatever the heck it was.
Well, you use that at Adam's wedding. I think Maria did at Adam's wedding. I was like, is that a blah, blah, blah tree? She goes, no, it's a blah, blah, blah tree. I'm like, those don't look, I think she says an avocado tree. I'm like, that doesn't look like avocados. They look circular. So she picked up her phone and pushed that button. She's like, oh, you're right. It's a blah, blah, blah tree. I'm like,
there you go.
Is that an app? She looked at me. She goes, no, now I understand why.
That's right. Because Analese hates apps.
Not a quote, but okay.
It's the wildest take in history.
I hate being forced to have an app in order to do something. I should have an option to not have to download an app. Hey, you can pay by your phone here. Download this app. I'm like, no, just let me pay with my phone. It's wild to me.
It's so inconvenient.
It is. I don't want to download another app and let me put my tinfoil hat on here. No, I think in some cases it's definitely data mining. In some cases it's totally useful. And I just struggle with when is it what?
Sure. It's data mining either way, right? Whether you go to to me, the convenience of not having to go to Safari and like load it and click a cookie button and maybe this site is optimized for mobile or maybe it's not, or I could just go double click, download the app and I'm in. And now the app is there for next time.
It just depends on the thing. The nerdiest thing I did this week.
Oh yeah, that's what we were talking about. What's the nerdiest thing you did this week, Alex?
This week is just about completely nerding out. So looking forward to HellmouthCon and going back. I think when we left last year, it's like, well, that was nice. I don't know that we'd do it again, but they are upping the ante. They're making it multiple days instead of one long, gigantic, exhausting day for us old folks. And they are upping the ante with their guests. And in this case, Juliet Landau did her magic or whatever happened, but they're going to have a photo op with Drusilla and Spike because James Marsters is going to HellmouthCon. And I am
my
so
old
excited.
friend, James Marsters.
Your good old friend. You got to go. You're coming with, and you're going to get you bleached hair again and slicked back. And I'm just kidding.
I wish if I had hair, man, I would absolutely bleach that hair.
And to our listeners, a reminder of the funniness about this story is that once upon a time when Buffy was big and
New and
huge,
hot.
and it was early 2000s or whatever, and Rob was working as an instructor for a drum line, and as a hype point, they all bleached their hair to be like white, and the style Rob was wearing was very similar to Spike at the time. And Rob happens to go to our local comic book store to pick up some items, and it happened to be a day that James Marsters was going to be there to sign at Metro Comics, and everyone in the shop just assumed that Rob was there because he was a huge Spike fan.
Like a huge super fan. Like this was going to be the greatest day of my life. Like I have the same hair as this guy. I'm just the biggest Buffy James Marsters fan.
And the reality was Rob didn't watch Buffy for like 10 years after this.
I never even heard of this show. I had no idea what was going on.
Yeah. And he wasn't there yet. So there wasn't a line or anything, but they were like, oh, are you staying? Like, oh, he's coming right now. Like he actually arrived when you were there, right?
Yep. He arrived when I was there and I saw him and I was like, oh, that's what's going on. How embarrassing. I ran out of there.
Well, now you get to meet him for reals and know who he is. And I'm just geeking out about how cool this is all going to be. And how am I going to save my money after the girls just want to have fun weekend? It wasn't cheap to do those photo shoots and all that. So I'm going to figure it out, but I will get
a chance. And I wonder if James Marsters would find that story funny.
I'm sure he would. He seems like a pretty personable dude.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll try to find it. I almost sent it to you. I saw a reel of him talking about how he used to cosplay Star Wars. Star Trek.
Oh, yeah.
Like the OG Star Trek. He's a huge fan and he was just reeling off knowledge. I'm like, oh, Rob needs to see this.
Yeah. Well, I like that. That's
so I think
cool.
I think he would very much enjoy the story if we get a chance to tell it to him. If we get our press passes and have a chance to talk to each of them and do some content, then that would be a great story to share with him.
I was so oblivious to Buffy that like shortly after Buffy was over, he became cast member for Smallville. He was Zod in Smallville after that. And I was like, man, who's this actor? Like I had like everybody else was all hyped. Like, oh my gosh, James Marsters is on the show now. I'm like, huh.
Who? Oh, that guy with the hair. Okay, I remember that guy. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's like that guy with the hair at the comic book shop. Like, oh, that guy. The guy who stole my hairstyle.
And the whole drum line. Kudos to Metro Comics, by the way, because they brought in a lot of people from Buffy, and I wasn't living in Santa Barbara at the time, so I missed it all. But they had Amber Benson. They had there. They had Juliet Landau there. I think they had Allison Hannigan there. Like they brought in a lot of people when Buffy was at its high point. I don't know who they knew. They must have known a showrunner or someone.
It could have been, yeah. Or maybe that was just part of the show's, it was a different time. It might have been part of the show's marketing budget to like go tour Southern California nerd stores like that.
Or just a way to make extra money while they were in their high points is how many of these can I book? Because they charge per autograph and all that good stuff. So I nerded out this week. I'm just so excited. And thanks to intern Joan, who catches these announcements when I'm working with kids and not on my devices, and I get a text going, oh my gosh, and then I go on and go, oh my gosh, and just nerding out over it. And I just can't wait to see who else they bring out. There's been a little bit, I don't want to use the word renaissance of Buffy, but there's a resurgence of the actors coming to do these things. And I don't know if it's because of Juliet's podcast. I don't know if it's just,
I think it's because of inflation.
Something's happening. They had Fanboy Expo in Florida. Fanboy Expos go all over the country. And so they just get as many nerd people together to do signings and photo sessions. And in this case, the Fanboy Expo in September, where it was like nearly every Buffy and Angel character you could think of, big main ones, minus Sarah Michelle Gellar, Allison Hannigan, Brendan, forget his last name, that played Xander. Who else wasn't there? It's easier to list who wasn't there than who was there. Like even David Boreanaz was there. James Marsters was there. Yeah, there's something happening. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this weekend in June continues to just add and add and add over the course of 2 days. So I'm excited. I'm nerding over it.
Speaking of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, we will transition to this. Before we head off to welcome in 2025, we're going to dive into our next nerd series. If you have not seen Dollhouse starring Elijah Dushku, go watch it and get ready for our next episode. If you want to hear more Nerd Gift Guide suggestions, find Nerd Best Friends on Patreon. Become a Patreon member and listen to the bonus content episode.
Our subscribers are not only getting a bonus episode for this, they are also going to get a bonus gift giving guide a la Intern Joan. So there's some extra bonus coming to our subscribers this episode.
The show's never been better. There's never better time to be a Patreon member and get that exclusive content. All of it thanks to Intern Joan.
100%.
Reminder, hit that subscribe or follow button on your device and spread the word with those sweet 5-star ratings. Connect with us on social media at NerdBestFriends or send us an email to podcast@nerdbestfriends.com. Let's grow our nerd family and keep the geeky fun going strong.
It's shopping time, Rob. Let's go get some nerd gifts for our favorite nerds.
The nerd mail.
You're like an octave off. We have
all right.
Go ahead.
Anais. That's not your name.
I don't know who that is. We did go play a football game against a school called Analese, Analy, and the whole time it was like Analese. And I'm like, what?
It was wheeling around.
On my neck.